What is up, everybody? Welcome to Apocaflix now, and welcome back if you're a regular viewer here. This is our movie hangout show here at Apocaflix Movies, where we just kind of talk about movie news, talk about movies, and hang out and BS around a little bit. I am your host, Jacob Bartley. We are joined today by the regular four-man crew that usually starts the show. Of course, Keith Barnes is going to try to jump on a little bit later, but I'll go ahead and introduce Gio Ramos first. How you doing, Gio? How was your weekend?
Good, man. Had quite a bit of barbecue. Got to enjoy the sun. It was pretty hot. It's getting very hot up here in Northern California. And that's about it. I'm excited to talk about what we're going to talk about, man. This is like
I feel like the three of us should just exit the show and it can be Gio's show tonight.
Hey,
There we go. But wait, we're going to let him decide all the tiers?
Is there a director filmmaker that is talked about more on this channel than Zack Snyder? Like,
yes.
Probably not.
On purpose or no?
Yeah, it's definitely
like naturally comes up in conversation, and then the
naturally, or you try to wiggle your way in.
No, not at all. You guys, half the time you guys set me up for it, and then
set you up.
Yeah, that's true. We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, as you can tell, we have a non-controversial topic today. Not at all. We're going to be ranking Zack Snyder's films, but it's going to be done in a very fun, different way, not just straight rankings. But we'll get to that in a little bit here. Of course, we have Jake Berlin here as well. How you doing, Jake? How was your weekend?
What did I do this weekend? I had to work yesterday, so I worked yesterday, and this is on me, but I'm currently in the process of remodeling our bathroom, and so I was doing that all weekend. My AC went out yesterday in 105-degree weather.
No, no, that's the worst.
Yeah, it's been a couple of days, guys. It's been a couple.
Oh man, I don't blame you, man, for being exhausted. Not at all. Brian Avellino, I hope you had maybe a little bit of a better weekend.
Yeah, I got to see my mom on Saturday, and we went and saw Cruella, which we'll talk about next week. Other than that, I just told Jake a while ago, this is the last week of school for me. Thank God for work. I literally a half hour ago just woke up on the floor. Apparently, I fell asleep.
Whoa!
Didn't even know I slept. Fell asleep on the floor. So. Yeah, that's where teachers are at right now.
And I'm pretty sure Brian was not drunk. So
no, I literally just was like, "Where am I?"
Not that he remembers.
No, I literally no. Yeah, not that I remember. But yeah, couldn't miss this. My brain, and my body were like, "Nope, you're not missing this." So.
Oh no, not at all. It should definitely be a fun conversation, to say the least.
Well,
and
we'll see about that.
We know there's some brand new movies that just came out, and we're excited to talk about them. But we're going to be talking about them next week, just because this is going to be a big discussion for us here and take a lot of our time. And we haven't even talked about Army of the Dead yet.
Yeah. So the reason why is because our watch along happened to land on the week, and the Army of the Dead came out. That was going to be the Zack Snyder episode, and then this week would have given us a chance to do A Quiet Place in Cruella, but we'll catch back because I know there's also a crap ton of trailers and movie news that we need to get to as well, like Eternals and the Tomorrow War and like all these trailers that came out, plus the Kraven the Hunter news, and like we will get to all of that next week. It'll be a catch-up hour next week, but I wanted to make sure we did this because it's going to be fun. Haven't done a ranking in a while, and Zack Snyder's in the news, so.
Absolutely. We will definitely, hopefully, be caught up by next week. And speaking of catching up, we need to catch up on the movie watching challenge. So let's get to it. Yeah. So I think it was about 3 weeks to a month ago. Keith was challenged to watch Primal Fear, which was a movie that I had chosen. So we're hoping to get his thoughts today, later on, when he pops on the show. But we're going to go ahead and move forward regardless. And I have been challenged next by Keith. So I will be watching a film this week. And I'm excited.
How are you choosing for your movie to be selected, Mr. Bartley?
So we get the results for the poll on Friday, right?
Yes.
I'll do a poll.
Okay.
I always go poll if I can.
Because I was ready.
I'll go and write the poll up right now. It'll go up here in the next few minutes.
Awesome. So I'm choosing a poll, so you'll be able to vote on that and decide which movie I'll be watching. And Brian is going to share with us what those choices will be.
Yes, I am. Your 4 movies, sir, that I've only heard of one is
Not surprising.
Defiance. Is that Daniel
Interesting.
Craig?
It is.
Yeah.
Looks so young. All right. Number 2, Heat.
Okay. I've been wanting to watch that. Nice.
Number 3, Rounders.
Awesome.
And 4, Spirited Away.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Wow. These are some great choices.
Quite the array of movies.
Yeah. I've always wanted to watch Spirited Away, and then I'm forgetting his name right now, but his other films by that filmmaker. And then I definitely had been wanting to watch Rounders. And I mean, I love Daniel Craig, so I'll watch anything with him in it. And,
have you ever heard of Defiance?
I have heard of it, but I don't even know what it's about. Like, I'm guessing it's action oriented. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yes, but
maybe I'll find out.
So if that movie gets picked, and I'm not saying it's my movie, I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm just saying if it does get picked, I would be interested to see if you went in knowing absolutely nothing and come back to me.
Interesting. Maybe I'll pull a Jake and watch all 4. I've been watching a lot of movies lately. I've been trying to I'm trying to let's just watch one movie a day. That's not hard, right? Like a new movie that I haven't seen. Just pop on Netflix or something and watch a new movie. So we'll see, but I'll definitely watch the winner of the poll. So make sure you guys vote on that. Jake will have it up shortly, and we'll know the results on Friday. And I thought I was going to be able to guess who chose which film until Spirited Away came up. And that kind of threw off everything, because now I really have no idea who chose which film, to be honest. So I'm excited to see which one wins.
That's funny that you said that you've been watching, because I've been kind of doing the same thing too.
Yeah, I tried to. I watched I Married an Axe Murderer the other day for the first time. Very good movie. Very good movie.
You guys are finally getting on my level.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike Myers is excellent in that movie. So much fun. Cool. Yeah, like we said, make sure you go ahead and vote on that in the community tab. Jake, when did you say it would be up?
I'm going to be posting it here in about 30 seconds.
Awesome. You can go check it out there in about 25 seconds. All right.
20 seconds.
Yeah, we're going to talk. Obviously, this is mainly a Zack Snyder related episode going forward. We're going to be talking Army of the Dead discussion. We're going to be ranking Zack Snyder's films. But Brian, do you want to tell them about our Friday show before we get to that?
No. I'm kidding. So this Friday, Bad Batch. You can. Oh, thank God, Jake, you beat me to it for a second because my finger was about to click it. The Fandalorian Club. That is our currently Bad Batch Star Wars show. You can check it out at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this week we will be discussing episode 6. And you know what? I'm just going to do it because next week, what? Jake's like, stop going off script.
Wasn't in the plan.
Okay, fine. Never mind. Goodbye. Next week, there's going to be episode.
I mean, 7 I might as well do it now that Brian just teasing the viewers. I just don't have the trailer up, which is why.
He was just talking about the next episode of Fandalorian Club.
Be ready for next week's.
Yeah, that's all. That's all.
Mandalorian too.
Technically, that's true.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, look, Army of the Dead came out. It was released theatrically, right, Gio, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
And then or is that right? Or 2 weeks ago?
No, it was 3 weeks ago and theatrically, and Netflix was 2.
And Netflix was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And we haven't had a chance to talk about Army of the Dead yet. And I mean, Gio has definitely on his YouTube channel, on his Fandom United show and stuff. But we here at Apocaflix have not been able to talk Army of the Dead spoiler discussion until now. And I'm actually very excited to talk about it. I don't know how you guys want to go about this, just open discussion or anything specific?
Maybe start with overall thoughts, and we're going to get into spoilers, obviously. Talk about some things. Maybe just start with our overall thoughts because the four of us have not discussed it together.
Yeah, we haven't really. Gio, why don't you start us off, man? I know maybe some of our viewers have heard your thoughts on your show, but why don't you set the table, man, and get us started on this?
Okay, well, this is Zack Snyder's second time doing a movie involving zombies, first being Dawn of the Dead. This is considered a heist/zombie flick. And I've seen the movie about 6 times, 3 times in theaters, 3 times on Netflix. I cannot get enough of this world. Okay, like, yeah, as a standalone movie, it mostly works. But then you think about, okay, we have 2 prequels on the way that are literally on the way. Like, one's already shot and completed, and the other one's finishing as far as animated goes. And it's only going to expand the world. And we got a taste of that in the opening credits with the Viva Las Vegas cover, which was well done, and an opening sequence showing the zombie outbreak, the Lost Vengeance team. I love the ensemble as a whole. I have a few problems with a couple of them, borderline nitpicks we'll get into. The zombies are awesome, arguably the best part of the movie. I love what Zack Snyder was doing as far as having alpha zombies, shamblers, the alpha, possibly the omega. We'll get to that. And then you had things like, and I didn't notice this until like my 3rd or 4th viewing, freaking robot zombies. Okay, like that, like, woo! And then you throw in there the little like hints at, aliens, in the beginning, the UFOs and how they shoot out of the sky and all that kind of stuff. And Vandero, where does he go next? Spoilers. Very enjoyable, a big hit for Netflix. And in my opinion, another hit for Zack Snyder. Is it perfect? No, we'll get to that.
Yeah, so my thoughts are pretty close to Gio's, a little different. So I want to get your guys' thoughts. I'll have to go to you, Jake. I have no idea about your thoughts on this movie, so I'm excited to hear it.
I mean, look, there were definitely moments that I had a lot of fun. There's some really cool action moments with zombies, which is what I want from this type of movie. I do have questions about the rules that are happening inside of this type of movie, because and we've talked about it a lot later, or maybe I have. I have an issue when movies don't explain things. I have a big issue when there's no explanation and they kind of just do something. That really does feel like it needs some kind of explanation. Like, is this movie in some kind of alternate dimension where time is different? Or what's up with the robot zombies all of a sudden? Like, where did that come from?
Robot zombies? Where did I miss this?
The eyes glowed. Their eyes glowed. They were very quick. That they didn't point them out, which is what I'm getting at. There was no pointing.
Well, you wouldn't know unless you did research after watching it.
You would never know. I guess I'm questioning certain things. Like I said, I had fun. I would if I sat in a review on video or on paper or on a website or something, I would do my whole dilly dally as far as breaking it down, etc. And then I would basically say, it's fine. It really is fine. It's fun in moments, but there's certain things that I was expecting it to do that it didn't do for me personally. But that's just my opinion. The zombies are a very cool idea. The extension of them and how they operate is very cool. But again, how or why, where did it come from, etc. is kind of and I get it. They're doing the prequels and stuff, but for me, a movie can't rely on succeeding and then telling that story in a prequel. What if it failed? Then we would have never known what's happening with these zombies or what happened before all this happened. And so I don't know. I had fun with it. Dave Bautista was great. The cast was really good. The girl with the bandana, I forget her name every single time. Chamber, I think her name is Chambers.
Yeah,
Chambers. She was badass.
She was one of the best parts of the movie. That whole zombie sequence that she had was really cool. Yeah, just how did he survive on a volt from an atomic bomb is what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that is an interesting question. Brian, so this movie isn't necessarily up your wheelhouse. No. I'm curious what your thoughts are, man.
So, if you were to make a movie of like all the things that I don't like, this would be.
Oh my goodness!
But here's the thing: that has nothing to do with the story or plot or stuff like that. I am not a blood, guts, torn body parts, like that stuff. Doesn't do it for me. That's what took me out of it. Would I watch a sequel to it? Yes. Because like I said, the plot and stuff is still good. It's just the like gore, I guess, that got me, because I'm not and person on that.
You just don't prefer that stuff, so it's not like you hate the movie. You just it doesn't matter who directed it or anything. It's just like you just don't prefer that stuff. Yeah,
it could have been Spielberg or freaking
Spielberg doing a zombie movie would be bonkers.
What?
Spielberg doing a zombie movie would be bonkers.
Yeah, I mean it could have been anyone. It could have been the freaking Russo brothers coming off of Endgame, and I would have been like, not a bear, not for me. It's just literally just like that type of stuff is not my wheelhouse. Did I watch the whole entire thing? Absolutely. Was I like invested on like who's gonna survive, who's gonna die, like that type of stuff? Absolutely. Like I said, would I want to watch another one knowing that like this blood gut stuff? No. But would I still be very curious and want to watch it to see what happened from this last movie? Yes. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I mean, like I said, like Gio said, there's already a prequel and a sequel. I'll watch it.
It's an animated prequel, right, Gio?
Yep. Army of the Dead, Lost Vegas.
And it's essentially going to be those highlights from the beginning of the movie where they were blocking off Vegas, correct?
Yeah, it goes into more of the backstory of like, how this zombie came about. It hints at Area 51. That's what the soldiers were talking about, which wasn't the best dialogue. And then obviously there's hints at aliens, because you literally, and he took his time showing, like it's almost a blink and you'll miss, but the 2 UFOs shooting away, it's just like stuff like that.
Wait, what?
What? What?
There were UFOs in the movie?
Mm-hmm. It's very, very quick, like right in the first 40 seconds of the movie. And it's stuff like that Zack Snyder, he's not a filmmaker to just put those in there for no reason. There's always a meaning, whether you like it or not. There's always a deeper meaning, a symbolism of what it could mean. And I mean, that's
I would hope any director that's going to put UFOs in a zombie movie would
UFOs, zombies with robot zombies and a tiger.
Extraterrestrial
robot
stuff.
Animal or zombie animals.
I will say I loved when that tiger effed that guy out. I'm not a gore person, but I was like, yeah.
Man, that changed white tigers for me forever, man. That's my favorite animal.
Samir, they implied that it definitely happens. That zombie sex is real.
They have zombie sexy time.
I want to get into the rules of this, because there's a lot of things that are happening in this movie that kind of contradict itself for me personally. And the biggest is, how quick does someone turn? Because we saw multiple times, right? Dave Bautista at the end. Spoilers. Dave Bautista at the end. Okay.
You need a soundboard.
And
he got bit by the alpha, saving everyone's life, and he turned within minutes. But the dude with the buzzsaw, and I forget his name,
Vandero,
like days, like with a bite, not changing.
There's theories on that, on what can't see, Gio.
Well.
So like why is he not turning? Like why did he not turn quicker than everybody else? Because in the movie we saw multiple times someone got bit and they turned almost within minutes.
I think everyone turned pretty quickly except him.
Like
right?
why?
At the end?
Okay,
so I don't know, but there's theories, and I'm sure Gio obviously is very well versed in them.
But a theory is not concrete, is what I'm getting.
I know. I mean, that's true.
Here's what the animation early look kind of looks like, so it gives you a sense that
is that Vandera?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
It kind of reminds me of like the What If animation that's coming out.
So about that last, let's call it the epilogue, right? The epilogue with Omari Hardwick's Vandero character. There are hints throughout the movie, and this is more on the theory side, that what you're seeing is from an alternate timeline. Now, again, that's more on theory, but you look at the subtle references throughout the movie. Okay, when he first talks to Dieter, and he says, "Well," as Dieter's firing a gun, he looks at him, he's like, "Oh, not bad for your first time." And then later on, like literally 10 minutes later in the movie, he tells Dieter's like, "Don't you think I need something bigger than a small knife?" Vandero goes, "If I give you something bigger, you're already dead." And it's little things like that that make me think that he's been stuck in this time loop for the longest time. And as far as
just
maybe
him,
3 or 4
basically?
times.
So you're saying that he's the only one that's in a time loop? So we're like, what's one of those movies where, like Palm Springs, like it's just him?
So we don't know for sure, because
that movie didn't take place in
obviously it's all theories, right?
In the vault room right outside, they take a moment and Vandero goes, "Don't you see? That's us stuck in some infinite time loop." And it literally shows the skeleton and like something as a necklace, and then it cuts to Maria Cruz's character, who was Dave Bautista's right hand female, and how she had a necklace. And then it showed Tig Notaro's Peter's character wearing a blue Hawaiian shirt in the hangar when they were discussing the plan. And then you see that as well. And then obviously the blueprints. There's blueprints on the casino table. And it's like there was a team here before us. And it's just all these little hints and nods that get you talking more about the movie.
So what you're telling me is that Zack Snyder put a zombie film over top Infinity War, and Vanderho is Doctor Strange, who is living through all these realities and has to see the one where they win.
I mean, that's one way to put it. I don't know if that's exactly what's going to happen. It's all theories right now, man. But Zack Snyder, I'll tell you what Zack Snyder has come out and said. He has said that Vandero will be a big part of the next movie that takes place in Mexico City, where he.
Well, yeah, I would think.
And is that a live action sequel?
Yes.
Okay.
Netflix hasn't
shot, isn't it? Gio, isn't it already shot?
Say what?
Isn't it already shot? Like it was already filmed?
No, not the sequel.
The prequel was, right? Army of Thieves.
The prequel, yeah, Army of Thieves, which Brian will like, because that one, like 10 Cloverfield Lane, it's set in the world, but it's described more as a romance comedy heist. Obviously, with the main leader.
Super excited for that, because Gio, you know who my favorite character in this movie is.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's
favorite character in this movie is Dieter. I freaking love.
Is Dieter the
vault brick cracker? Yeah. First of all, the actor did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
and I just thought he was kind of like. He's just the character that I was like worried, like I didn't want him to die the most, and
he was always going to die. I'm sorry.
Technically didn't see him die, but everybody died except
someone. I saw someone make a meme or something of it was like F Zack Snyder for always making us care about that one character and then killing them, and it was just like a list of literally like every character that he's made you care about and then kills them.
Dude, I was so invested. Yeah, I was so invested in the bromance, the friendship between Dieter and
It's a
Vandero.
bromance.
Like
It's a
those two were just some of the best parts of the movie, you know, whenever they'd interact and whatnot. And people were saying, like, well, first Zack Snyder was saying, is Dieter really dead? I mean, we see him get grabbed. No, what do we know about Zeus, the zombie king? He doesn't always kill right away. He'll store his victims.
Dude, Vegas was obliterated.
Yeah, I would say unless
obliterated in like a vast vicinity, it was obliterated.
Unless he becomes like a nuclear.
He's a nuclear zombie. He's going to be on fire the whole time.
And that's we also don't ever see Lily die either, right?
Who's Lily?
We show him the coyote.
The coyote.
The one that gets stabbed with the.
So we see him reaching to bite her, and then it cuts away, and that's the last time we see her, right? So the assumption was that he was going to make her his new queen or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
again,
I mean,
Vegas was.
No, I know, and I agree with you. And when they showed him survive, like, look, you can tell me in this world that safe could survive the bomb. I can believe that in this world, but anyone else surviving it is not believable. In this
Jake,
world.
I find it funny that the shelter, or not the shelter, the safe you didn't buy, because I actually was like, when I saw the safe, I was like, oh, someone's gonna.
Well, to me, what's more crazy is how did he get out?
It's beneath ground. Like,
how do we know it's the same timeline, the same?
Oh, okay, so if that actually happens, I'm now less like this movie because of that reason. If they're playing with our time loops, not explaining things, that would make me like the movie less. 100%.
What? I mean,
I actually agree, because you can't show us a whole movie, right? And then just show us one scene, but don't give us any hints that it's an alternate timeline. I guess they kind of did earlier in the movie, and then just say, no, that was an alternate timeline later on. Like, it's kind of cheating in a way. I see what you're saying, Jake.
But it's part of a universe, though.
But we don't. The difference is we don't know this universe yet. So like,
but
we can't. I know, but like
that's
Jake
what I
was
said
saying,
earlier, though. That's what I said earlier, is that like this movie was, and again, like I said, I had fun with things in this movie, but it was relying on other movies and stories to finish it, essentially. And that's what I don't like. Like, it leaves these very big open ends that are now we're questioning, and we're like, well, are they ever going to be answered? Like,
but isn't. Oh.
No, well, I was going to say, I agree with Jake to where like a movie should be able to stand on its own and be enjoyable and make sense on its own. It should.
Well, then, hey, let's have conversations about both the DC universe and the Marvel universe then.
And that's fair, but we're talking about this movie, though.
I will say to both DC and Marvel, all those movies do stand on their own. I will say that. They all stand on their own. There isn't a single movie that leaves off like with like time loops and questions and like all of these things. And Gio, the problem is we haven't got anything before this. So if we knew that time loops existed before and robot zombies existed before this movie, and then we saw this movie, then it would make sense.
So would you three rule out the possibility that you watch these next two prequels and you end up liking Army of the Dead even more? Like, it adds to the movie in the same way that, I'm trying to think of an MCU movie. Like,
I won't rule that out at all, because it's very possible. I just don't like when that happens. Like, I don't like when a movie, and I'm not singling Zack Snyder out at all, because we've seen it.
We're talking about universes.
Like the Divergent films relied on it. Hunger Games relied on it. Like, there's a ton of franchises that, like, Fantastic Beasts is the perfect example. Those stories relied on more sequels to be a full product, and it didn't work in its favor. This movie was good. It paid off. What if the next one's not? Like, what if it's really bad, and now there's a lot of open-ended questions that don't ever get answered?
There's always that risk. But one thing that I think everyone should keep in mind is that before we even saw this movie, there were two more movies or prequels already on the way. So they're setting up a universe as opposed to
it's fair.
Like a movie that was created to specifically be like Joker, right? Joker is a good example. Joker is a perfect standalone movie, but now you're hearing Todd Phillips talk about, a sequel. Like they really want a sequel. And it's like, well, this one was more of like a standalone, whereas Army of the Dead, you knew 2 more movies were on the way, and that, Netflix is really, really wanting a franchise. And
well, I'll say this, Gio, would you agree that people in the know that? Casual fans don't know that.
Well, yeah, sure, absolutely, and that goes with almost anything that we talk about here on Apocaflix. And thankfully, from what I've seen, as far as not critics but audiences, they at least enjoyed it, for what it was, a Netflix produced movie.
Yeah,
and you know what? Like they're going to be, hey, 2 more. You like that? Guess what? 2 more are on the way. And it's going straight to Netflix. You don't have to go out in your movie theaters and watch it. You could watch it at home. There's a lot of promise behind this, especially since one of the prequels is focusing on a well-beloved fan favorite character in this movie. I mean, say what you will. We could talk about the rest of the ensemble. I mean, I had problems with a few of them, but I think the one focusing on Dieter, the heist movie, that one's going to be a hit.
I will say, if I had, let's say there's going to be, excuse me, Mom calling at the worst possible time.
John, to answer this, I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure his daughter was the only thing that survived.
Okay, sorry, go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
No, so I was just going to say, if there was let's say there's 5 movies. I'm just picking a number. Let's say there's 5 movies that they've planned. This one did feel like it would have been number 2. Like there could be one before it, and there's plenty of room to make tons after. So that's where I'm kind of like, Chuck, not popular, just my mom. So I can see both sides of it, because like I said, it seemed like it was a number 2. Like they're starting at number 2 in the franchise. There's going to be a 1 that explains it, so that way those 2 connect, and then 3, 4, and 5 are going to be the sequels that further flesh out this story, and I'm sure branch to other things. So
yeah, so like Star Wars, right? They started with episode 4, and then 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3.
No, I know that, but what it just goes back to what you're talking about. Those are all standalone movies in a way. Like they weren't relying on a universe, outside of the sequel trilogy, because there was no effing plan with that stuff. So,
for the record,
y'all can tell I came to play.
I actually really like this movie. I mean, I don't want to say I like it more than Gio, but I was stoked coming out of the theater. I wasn't expecting something, super deep like that. I wasn't even expecting what I was expecting from BVS or anything like that. Like I knew what I was going in for, and it gave me what I wanted. And then all that stuff, like maybe there's a time loop going on, maybe there's robot zombies. That's just stuff on top, which I do have big questions about. But overall, I really had a good time with this film, and it's kind of flipped the zombie mythology on its head. Like we've seen zombies that are more intelligent, that are fast. We've seen that before, but to where these zombies,
it's a society.
You can make a trade with the zombies, and they're gonna let you walk through safely. That's the kind of stuff is really cool that I really like. And the whole time I was actually wanting Zeus to survive this whole movie. I was I was expecting it too, and I was expecting this movie ends, Zeus is still alive somehow, it ends with him wanting to go get get revenge on them and get out of Las Vegas or whatever. But obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah,
obviously that didn't happen, and they can go different routes. But I really enjoyed it. But to me, my main issues are just I guess editing choices, or maybe some I think Billy mentioned the music. Look, the opening scene with the Las Vegas song was cool. But other parts of the movie where they just place random songs, they just didn't fit to me. And I find I have that problem a lot with Zack Snyder movies. But like I told Gio before, none of that really hurts the movie for me like that much. So I had a very positive experience with it, and I'm looking forward to anything in the universe going forward. But like, if they say, oh, it's a time loop or whatever, like it's going to be really confusing because like, do you have to watch those other movies for this one to make sense? You know, so that's when it becomes tough.
Should we bring in our fifth member?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and maybe we get Keith's thoughts on this, and then ask him about.
Let's hear what he has to say about. Let's hear what he has to say about Army of the Dead. Let me bring him in. There he is.
Keith. All right, you're not gonna come on here.
Hey,
what's up, buddy?
What's going on? What's happening, guys?
Hey, all right, Keith. We're talking about Army of the Dead, man. I don't know if you've talked to Gio or Jake about it, but I have not heard your thoughts yet. Let me have it, man. What do you think of Army of the Dead?
You can go to Fandom United. Gio and I talked about it on there. If you guys want to check that out. I enjoyed it a lot. I really enjoyed it. I have maybe one or two kind of, I don't know if they're nitpicky, but just because I've watched it, say about half of it again since. There's one or two kind of logic things where I'm like, that kind of doesn't make sense, just within the story. But overall, I really enjoyed it, man. It wasn't as crazy as I thought. Like, it's not like the frenetic paced kind of thing that I thought it was going to be, kind of like the trailer for the show. Or at least the first trailer that I saw. It's not necessarily like that. If I was going to pick a kind of a criticism, but it's still really good. Like, I like the story. I like all the characters. The characters, like I said, when Gio and I talked about it. I like the people that I think you're supposed to like and the people you're supposed to hate. You appropriately hate them, but they're all done well, in my opinion. I don't know. I had a good time with it. I thought it was fun. Overall,
it's good.
I will say, for as much as I disliked the Martin character, the one who betrayed, when he started getting attacked by the zombie tiger, I was cheering. I was like, yes, okay, your character serves a purpose, and that's to show everyone that zombie tigers are like a nightmare.
I will say it was very odd for me because he is actually a very popular character on Fear the Walking Dead, and he's one of the most like heroic / pure characters in like that entire universe.
Really?
So seeing him as this character completely flipped on his head, I was watching the entire time like, oh man, this is weird. Like, I'm used to John just like being a total sweetheart, purist, the realest dude on the planet, and now he's a total D-bag. So thank you, Zack Snyder, for that. I appreciate that.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
That's funny.
Keith, you said that you liked every character. For myself, outside of one scene, I was very annoyed with Dave Bautista's daughter.
I agree.
The one scene that I did like her in is it's a flashback where Dave Bautista sees his wife turn into a zombie, and I thought her delivery, when she sees her father kill her mother, it was just, man, that was one of the more emotional scenes, and maybe the scene that best displayed Dave Bautista's acting. As you guys know, when we talked about it a few weeks ago, I was all high on Dave Bautista, and I was like, this guy showed range in this movie. And so, yeah, I don't know if you guys disliked any characters, like any that stood out. So
she definitely daughter.
Oh, Keith, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Sorry. I was gonna say she definitely got everyone killed.
She kept disobeying her father's orders,
and she was the only one that survived.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know how we're supposed to sympathize with her at all.
I will say I didn't really dislike any characters. For me, it's more so I disliked a lot of the dialogue that they were delivering. there were a lot of times I was like, ooh, not the best of choice of dialogue, or ooh, that didn't sound good in that situation. I was cool with most of the characters, like the gangster dude who was just out there having a lot of fun.
Oh, he was cool. Yeah.
We mentioned
Chambers.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
We mentioned Chambers kicking butt as the first kill.
Glow sticks.
And we haven't mentioned her, but Bautista's partner, and I forget her name, Gio.
The character's name is Maria Cruz. The actress's name is Anya de la.
She has a really good name. She has a really good name. But what I was going to say is the single best kill of the entire film. I did not see that coming.
Which one?
Her head got twisted around.
Elevator.
Dude, that was crazy.
When her head got twisted around, she was alive. I was like, ugh.
Dude, I was in shock when that happened. That was crazy.
Right. Can I add something to that?
After Zack Snyder, love too.
Zack Snyder had this idea where, as soon as the zombie turns her head around, he had the idea that the character would reach her arms out like help, only it would be the opposite. She would reach her hands out like that, but her head would be the opposite way, and it would. They were like, "That's too far."
There's a lot of directors who wouldn't, and this is where I give Zack Snyder credit a lot of the time. There's a lot of the directors who would not place the camera there and show the entire widescreen shot of that happening. You saw everything. You saw from waist up the entire thing happen. A lot of the time, it would cut very quickly, and you would just hear it. You saw everything happening.
And it's not like I enjoy watching that, Brian. Like, it's just that it was so shocking. Like,
you guys,
I respect that decision to do that, because she could have just been in the helicopter with them at the end and died, right? But I respect that was bold, and I respect that.
And you know what? Hey, had the daughter not walked off, Dave Bautista wouldn't have walked, and she wouldn't have followed. So,
sure. Absolutely. Yeah, she absolutely.
So.
I do have a quick thing, Gio, for you. Just a question upon rewatching. Was Tanaka was he trying to get them all killed? Or because he said that, first of all, he's having them break into their safe. And it's like, well, why do you it's his building, right? Wasn't it his casino and his money in his building?
Yes.
Why do they need a safe cracker?
So on the surface, it was all just a cover because he really wanted the zombie sample.
Yep.
The guy Martin went a step ahead
wanted that.
And went for the head. Now, here's the thing. Did Tanaka fail? Because Dave Bautista made it out of the blast zone, turned into a zombie, and then was shot, and his body is right there. Does Tanaka get his hands on it? He has a lot of resources. You saw him with all the military leaders.
Yeah, but didn't he want a live head?
Well, he's got Omari Hardwick too.
I think he wanted the samples, but Martin said that a live head goes for more on the market. I think it's worth more, if I'm not mistaken.
And
it was worth more than the $200 million, is what he was saying.
Yeah, and Batista's the one who hired the safecracker, so Tanaka wouldn't have. He didn't care if they got a safecracker or not. He just wanted them to get in, his guy to get in there and get out safely.
You're right. Oh yeah, no, okay, that is true. But you think that so that makes sense. Because I was just like, well, he could have just given them the code to get in.
That's true.
And
I know, right? That's a good point.
He told them because he told them there weren't any traps, and then there were 3 traps that could have killed them all. Like he told them.
He said there were 3 non-lethal traps that you have to find a way to get around.
I missed that part. Okay,
that was a pretty funny moment. How Vanderhoek kept sending the zombies out there.
Very lethal.
And Dieter's like, that's not non-lethal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then microwaving the zombie hand out.
Microwaving the zombie hand.
All right, guys. Any last thoughts on Army of the Dead before we get going?
I will say, I did like the twist of what he really wanted. I liked that because I did not see that coming. That I knew. I knew like that guy was suspicious. Like, I I knew that he was suspicious. Obviously, he was made to look suspicious, but like, I wouldn't have picked the fact that he actually wanted a zombie. Like that, I didn't see coming. But yeah, like I said, overall thoughts, not a Brian movie just because of the like extensive gore. Heist, like if you would have given me this without like the gore and stuff, I probably would have loved it. But just because of that, for like me, I wasn't too into it. Would I still get suckered into watching a prequel or sequel? Probably.
Oh, you're gonna love Army of Thieves then.
Probably. So it's funny because I kind of appreciate the fact that I got to sit at home and watch this. Because if I was in the theater, I would have been annoyed. Because I would have been like, really, I spent money on a movie that is not up my alley as far as the like bloody, gory type stuff. But the being able to just sit at home and watch it, that probably propelled me to the fact that I could watch other stuff. So
hey, and those streams support the movie as well, so nothing wrong with that. All right, guys, unless you have any more thoughts, we'll go ahead and get going. Obviously, Army of the Dead will be considered in our Zack Snyder filmography rankings. But, Gio, before we get to that, do you want to tell them about the casting table real quick?
Yeah, so casting table is pretty much our chance, being the five of us, our chance to be casting directors like Zack Snyder. And we get to choose a character from any IP or, property franchise. And who would we cast in that role? So an obvious one, a popular one would be like Sue Storm from Fantastic Four. And obviously everyone's favorite choice would be Emily Blunt. But who else would we put in that role besides Emily Blunt? That is casting table. Please do check us out. Check out our latest episodes right there. Jake has it on the screen. You can find it on the channel. It's a fun, creative way to just geek out and think about the possibilities, the what ifs, which as fans is really all we can do as we wait for the next exciting thing. So casting table, check it out.
Awesome. And yeah, so really quick, before we get to our Zack Snyder rankings, we do need to get Keith's thoughts on Primal Fear. We usually do this at the top of the show, but we're just going to get Keith's thoughts really quickly. Maybe I'll give my thoughts a little bit too, and then we will move on real quick.
Keith, you have like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah, it won't take that long. It's pretty simple. It's a good. There's a fly in here. There's a fly buzzing around my light.
Oh no, that's the worst.
Yeah, I don't know how I miss this movie. It's a very 90s movie, of course. Richard Gere, young Ed Norton. But no, it's good. That was really good. The setup of it was really good. I love courtroom dramas very much. So yeah, man, Laura Linney was really great as the opposing lawyer. I like that dynamic between Richard Gere and Laura Linney. Like they're both they used to kind of hook up when now they're defense attorney versus prosecutor, which is really good in this case. And yeah, it was. Very young Andre Braugher, which I did not know he was in this movie, which is good. But yeah, the setup was I was really like, wow, what's going on here? Like you really believe, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's a very old movie. But you really believe what Edward Norton's character is saying, but the twist once the twist happens, kind of I guess maybe about halfway through, it's kind of like whoa, like I actually didn't see that coming.
Did you? Oh, I was gonna ask, did you see it? Did you see it coming? Yeah.
Not at all. No, I've never heard anything about this. I just like I said, 25 years ago probably this movie is, but so I didn't know at all. I had no idea. So I was like, what? Wow, that's crazy. So the rest of it was just trying to figure out how they're gonna how's this gonna go. So yeah, and I like the kind of the ending, like the ending when he kind of It's kind of got a usual suspects ending a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it, man. That was really good. Really, really good.
Awesome. See, I was surprised you had never seen this movie, and that's kind of why I chose it. It's kind of a thriller, like psychological thriller in a way, and it's a courtroom drama. So it's a fun movie. My mom showed it to me. She was like, "You've never seen Primal Fear?" My mom she showed me Seven. She showed me this, and so like she likes those kind of movies.
Your mom Twisted?
A little bit, yeah.
Hey,
but yeah,
listen,
so
I was almost gonna let my daughters watch until they got to like the stuff with like the videotape and stuff. And I was like, ooh, never.
So fun fact before we move on, this was Ed Norton's first ever film.
Oh, really?
First movie? Was it really?
Yep.
What?
I didn't even know that.
Wow.
Yep.
Hey, and look,
I didn't know.
I can tell how he broke out on the scene with this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. He did a similar thing in The Score, where he kind of played sort of where he's pretending to be something and he's actually something else. So he's good at that.
Absolutely.
So, good movie.
Alrighty, so let's get into our and don't forget, I was challenged next, and then go ahead and vote on that poll. You can see the 4 films that I was challenged for on the community tab on our YouTube channel. So let's get to this Zack Snyder filmography ranking. Obviously,
quick,
I'm sure
if we
Gio,
do it fast enough, we can do it before Gio gets back and we
just do it real quick.
The whole entire thing.
2 minutes. No, but okay. This is going to be done very differently than we normally do ranking. So I'm going to throw it to Jake because it's a little confusing, but here we go.
So, okay, it's not that confusing. So we're not doing our typical ranking as far as going around the table and being like, hey, this is my number 8, this is your number 8, etc. We're gonna do a little different. We're gonna do a tier ranking. We're gonna do what's called a tier ranking. And so what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna leave this on screen the entire time. As you can see, Army of the Dead is it's not on there yet because it's newer, but we will add it. We are going to be placing these movies as a group in a tier. So S tier is the top tier you can be, the unbeatable tier, the unmatched tier, just the best of the best, period, point blank. Then you have the A, the B, the C's, and the D's. And so we're going to go through them one by one, and we're going to discuss them. There's going to be movies that, for example, like I have not seen Legends of the Guardians personally, so I will stay out of that conversation. And those who have seen it, we'll discuss where that goes. And then another example could be like, say Gio, and this is just hypothetical, say Gio is all about Sucker Punch, right? Say he's all about Sucker Punch. He thinks it's an A movie and he's not letting it down. The rest of us are like, okay, man, like we'll give it to you, but you have to give us something back. We kind of get to debate a little bit and a give and take on certain movies and certain tiers. It's a conversation between the 5 of us. It's not just our single rankings. And then maybe at the end we can reveal those rankings if we want to. But we're gonna do the tier first. We're gonna focus on these, and we're just gonna go one by one and rank them as we go for the next 30 or 40 minutes or so, and see where the official ranking of Zack Snyder films land.
Does the
S stand for sexy?
What is that yellow one?
Army of the Dead.
No, not that one. The one next
Watchmen.
Oh, Watchmen.
Oh, I can barely even tell.
Yeah, it's Watchmen. So let's just start with Army of the Dead. Let's go and look, these are going to change as we place movies. We can probably put a limit on how many we want on each one, just to be a little bit smarter about it. Like, maybe we can do, like, if we really wanted to, like 2 S's, 3 A's, and I don't know if we want to, but we don't have to. But let's start with Dawn of the Dead. Let's start with his first film, Dawn of the Dead. Brian hasn't seen it, so the other 4 of us have, correct?
Yes.
I've never finished it, so I've seen it.
Okay, it's been a while, but I have seen it.
Okay, so Keith, since you haven't finished it, I'm going to keep you out of this one. And Gio, Jacob, and I will talk about this. Boys, where do you think that Dawn of the Dead should go?
Guys, what do you think?
Well, okay, so for me, I like the movie. I don't love it. It's pretty solid, especially being a remake of the original. Like, it had a lot of people like angry that they were making it, and then, as far as I know, a lot of people that were like that, they saw it and they were like, "Oh wow, that was pretty good." Like he did a good job of it, and I liked the movie. To me, I'd probably place it in the B.
That's what it's middle ground for me. It's middle ground. That's where it's a high B, but because I actually really enjoy it, but it definitely is smack dab in the middle for me as far as his films go.
I mean, I would have gone A, but I can live with B.
It can change. Remember, it can change.
I didn't realize that this was a Zack Snyder movie until like around Man of Steel time.
Well, yeah, when I first saw it, I didn't even know who Zack Snyder was.
I remember watching Dawn of the Dead. I'm thinking like, man, what is this movie's freaking awesome. You kidding me? Like, you know, the zombies and the way some of the practical effects look and the makeups. Whew, scary, man. And just how, you know, character focused it is. And, you know, how he uses some stock footage to mix in and show the zombie outbreak, you know, the violence, the ensemble. So for me, I would have put it in the A, but 2-1. So we can place it in the B.
Okay. Most of the chat seems to agree. And like I said, it can change. It very much can change if something else comes up. But I'm going to place it here for now. All right, let's just move down the line here. 300. So I imagine the 5 of us have seen this. I'm hoping anyway. Consider one of Zack Snyder's greatest, his first big hit. Boys, where do you think 300 should be?
S for me, easily. I mean, you kidding me? Like, has Gerard Butler done a role that outdoes what he did for King Leonidas? The way he adapted, you know, the Spartans and how, like, a lot of them, like, people think, oh, no, it's CGI. No, they worked their asses off, okay? They were doing extreme workouts to get in shape for this movie because they believed in what Zack Snyder wanted to do. In fact, he had to fight WB just to get this movie to be made. And finally, after Dawn of the Dead, WB's like, oh, wait, yeah, come on, come make movies with us. And yeah, for me, I love 300. It's an S for me. So, guys.
Well, the thing is, I don't have a problem with that. It's a great movie, but to me, that means you're saying it's his best movie, or like in consideration for his best. And to me, it's not. But I still love it. I would have gone A, but if you guys all feel like it should be S, I wouldn't mind giving into that.
I'm of the same. Jacob, I'm with you. Where I know we're not revealing our ranking, but I have 2 that are above it. I don't have it.
You can if you want to. You can reveal where they are in your rankings if you'd like to.
Well, see, I want to save room for more excellence, in my opinion. Like, I think he has better movies, in my opinion. But this is an excellent film, so I don't mind A, or 100%. I don't mind a lower S or a higher A. You know?
Yeah, that's where I am too. I would say I'll put it at A because the 2 that I have above it I think are.
So wait, are we limited by how many movies we can have in S?
Let me just go ahead and let me see. Hold on. I don't think so.
Don't get too excited, Gio. This is not the
there's no
tier ranking.
There's no limit. No.
I mean, shoot. I thought I was reacting to my own rankings.
I will say this, and Brian, I know you're thinking over there. 300 is my favorite Zack Snyder film, so it's S for me. It's S. I will say that flat out. It is top tier Zack Snyder for me. It beats out all the rest, so it's easy. It's an easy S for me. But I can understand where everyone comes from, so I will take away that if I need to for something else down the road.
Brian?
You know, I'm in between S and A, but I think I just think about how much I loved it, like when it came out and all that. So, you know, I think I probably lean more towards S on this one, just because that movie is just so like, I'd probably go S, just because even today it's still like talked about as what it is.
Gio or Keith and Jacob, are you guys okay with this being placed S for now?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not far off from being an S for me, so I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Right.
We got our first S movie.
Yeah.
Got our first S movie. All right, let's move on to Legend of the Guardians. And if I'm not mistaken, this is just a Gio and Jacob conversation. So you boys got to decide on where this places in the Zack Snyder ranking.
Well, Jacob knows I saw Legends finally today, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh,
it is Jacob. You're right. It's pretty dark. The visuals.
Yeah.
I mean, look. Okay, I know Pixar does its thing. Okay, and DreamWorks sometimes does its thing. The visuals for this animated movie, the owls flying slow motion through the storm, into the sunsets. The fighting, I thought Zack Snyder's slow-mo, he loves his slow-mo. I thought it worked very well seeing these owls fight. I mean, owls. You kidding me? For me, I'd be okay with it being in the B tier.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I also watched it for the first time today, but not with Gio. And this movie's awesome. Like, more people need to see it. You can definitely tell it's a Zack Snyder movie. Like, the owls are flying, and then they dive, and then a feather goes in the air. It's all in slow motion. But anyways, as far as an animated film, it is visually amazing as an animated film. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it doesn't look real, but it's just insane. But see, I was gonna go. Yeah, I think it's because what is D bad in this situation?
D is the worst.
And so, what is C then? Is it kind of like grading, but S is where you get
D
100, like over 100%?
I would say D means it's shit. C is like it's a little bit. It's not shit,
it's fine.
but it's still not.
Okay, I definitely
great.
put it B then. I agree with you, Gio.
Okay,
but I'm not completely dedicated to that.
Yeah,
but
we're not low.
He's fine.
Just because we give it a B doesn't mean it's like bad. No, nobody's saying that. So
okay, how about this? By the end of this, I think we need to have at least one in each category.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
I mean, I already have one for D, so yeah.
I'm just saying, at some point, like say there's a C that's open, we're gonna have to decide on a movie that goes to the C tier. Is what I'm saying.
Hey Jake, can we just put Sucker Punch in? I mean, if that's the case, can we just put Sucker Punch in D?
Does everyone agree that Sucker Punch is a D?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
No.
I put it in a D. Look.
Okay. Let's get to Sucker Punch now because Keith has brought something up. All right, Keith, the floor is yours, man. Sucker Punch.
I am in a very small minority. Okay. I don't mind Sucker Punch. I don't mind. I know it's not that good, if it's good at all.
Well,
but I think the visuals are incredible. It's a weird movie. But I mean, it's so visually incredible. I don't know what it is, man. Abby Cornish is really good at it.
Yes, it is.
There's a couple of some creepy stuff in it, or it's like, oof. But I don't know. A lot of it doesn't make sense, but I don't know. I was just really taken by the visuals, man. I thought it was really cool, and the music is really cool, and it's super Zack Snyder. It's like all the slow motion and the big crazy action scenes that are apparently in this girl's head, I guess. I don't know. I'm one of the few people that doesn't mind Sucker Punch. Like, I don't think it's that bad. I would give it a C. Yeah, just for me. But I know I'm in a minority there.
Well, Keith, I'm with you. I was expecting the way people were talking about it. I was expecting The Spirit. You remember The Spirit?
Yeah, right.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
But no,
it's not that.
It's
bad.
actually.
I don't think.
No, it's good. It's good.
I think it's fine. I'll say it's fine.
But here's the thing. Here's why I put it in D. One, we got to have a movie in D. And out of the remaining ones for me, it's Sucker Punch. Two,
sure.
The studio forced Zack Snyder to make it PG-13 instead of R-rated. Three,
yeah, okay.
they had him cut the movie down. He said specifically, there is a director's cut of Sucker Punch because of contracts licensing with certain channels and streams services that have the movie. They can't do a Sucker Punch director's cut, a Snyder cut, until that happens. So I know there. Yes, thank you, Billy. I know that there is a much better version of this movie, one that's closer to what Zack Snyder wanted. And what do we know about movies that are closer to what Zack Snyder wanted? Okay, they turn out to be pretty damn good, and you're left wondering, what the hell, studio? So,
I mean, it would also be a 5-hour-long movie, so there's that, though.
And that's fine.
So, should every director get a director's cut for every movie?
Hey, I want to see the Lord and Miller cut of Han Solo. Okay,
Solo, or the other version of Rogue One too. Anyway,
so where are we placing Sucker Punch? Where are we placing
D.
it?
Well,
Keith,
we have to have
Brian, where are you?
Have something in D.
I don't really care about this movie.
Okay, so you're a D tier.
Wow, you don't care, Brian. We're watching the Sucker Punch cut.
I've seen it a while ago and was not like in love with it.
Okay, we have our D tier.
It's not memorable.
We have our D tier movie. Okay. All right, let's move to all 4 DC films next. Let's move.
Here we go.
Let's move to Watchmen. Let's start with the first of the 4. And we're keeping in mind, I understand that there's director cuts and stuff, but we decided as a group that we're going theatrical version outside of the Snyder cut because it's a completely different situation. We have all seen this. Where are we going to be placing Watchmen, boys?
S.
Oh, wow.
Well, here's Keith. I would agree if it were the director's cut, but it's not the director's cut.
I will take away from that because I don't really think the animated part with the Gerard Butler voiced the pirate thing. I don't think that it's good. It doesn't necessarily fit. I know it's from the comic, but I actually kind of prefer I'm one of the few that prefers the theatrical version.
Wow, and it's an S.
Wow. Okay.
I have not.
I watched this about a month ago. It's awesome.
Brian, you haven't seen Watchmen?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have not seen this in a very long time. I'm talking like.
Same.
What year did this movie come out?
2009.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it since 2010. So, and at the time, my movie taste was drastically different.
Joanna Man.
I mean, that one's been pretty consistent. The crap movies has been pretty consistent.
So he still loves that.
I almost don't want to be a part of this one's discussion because I'm gonna be honest, it's a movie I need to rewatch because I remember not liking it. And if I went off of the taste that I had in 2010, I would probably put it in D. So I'm probably going to abstain from this one.
I think this is A, flat out. I think this is A tier. I have 2 movies sitting at the top for Zack Snyder that I believe are S tier. This is not one of them.
Hey.
I think we all have the same S tier.
Look, I'll just say real quick, I don't have any strong opinion either way. The movie's fine. I like it. If I were doing this by myself, I would put it in B. But that's just me. But I don't have a strong opinion either way.
I'd go A.
I rewatched it a month ago, like I said, and it's really I really it's a good movie.
So Keith, let me ask you this. Is this one of his movies that you're like sticking to your guns about that this is an S tier film?
If I'm the only one, I don't mind if we drop down to A because I understand not everyone loves this movie.
I'm okay with A if everyone else is.
Yeah, I'm fine with A. That's fine. That's just for me. It would be an S, but that's fine.
I think that's fine because, like, if I'm lower, but Keith has it as an S and you guys have it as an A, so it brings it up to an A. You know?
Yeah, I'll go A,
Yeah.
but I will add that there was another version that absolutely belongs in the S tier, in my opinion. But for this one, I'll go A.
Sure.
All right, we're going A. All right, and we start the DCU train here. Let's start with the big one, Man of Steel. Man of Steel.
Oh, we're skipping. We're okay.
No, Man of Steel comes first. It comes first. In how they were released. Man of Steel, boys.
S.
I mean,
D.
I think we all agree.
So this is the only one that I would have fought for to be an S if you guys disagreed with me. So, like, to me, it has to be S.
Okay. And everyone,
if you guys
everyone
agree.
agrees. Everyone agrees.
No, it's gonna have to drop to an A because I'm putting it at D. So
Nope.
Gio, are you go with an S?
Absolutely. S.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
S
Man,
stands for hope.
You guys made me so happy right now.
I want to apologize to everyone who was pissed off that he killed General Zod. That was a bold and brilliant decision.
And Gio, guess what? We don't need a director's cut of this movie.
No,
So
we don't.
we're all
Yeah,
good.
right.
You know why?
Yeah.
Well, that's more of a conjecture on my end, but Christopher Nolan, out of all the DC movies that Zack Snyder done, Christopher Nolan was the most involved in this one and kept Warner Brothers off his back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, the next release is Batman v Superman.
Oh.
This is the theatrical cut because we are not doing the ultimate cut.
I thought we were. Oh no.
We are doing the theatrical cut. This is a different situation than the Snyder cut. We are sticking to the theater's gun on this one. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice theatrical cut.
I'll do C for my man Chris Terrio because he said, "How dare you take 30 minutes out of my script? I am an Oscar-winning writer, and what they did was an act of vandalism." So we have to put a movie in C, right? We ain't putting the other movie in C. I know that for sure. So
That's going to be a fun conversation.
if we're talking about the theatrical version, the version I saw 9 times in theaters, I mean,
yeah. If we were doing non-theatrical, I put it at a B. If we were doing the one we are doing, I'm putting it at a C.
That's so funny because I think I'm the only person in the world that thinks the ultimate cut doesn't do anything for the movie.
No, I disagree with you.
I don't think it does anything for the movie personally.
I
Really?
disagree with you.
No, I don't.
Even I disagree with you.
I watched it the day it came out, and I felt the exact same I did about the.
You were probably still
theatrical
super sassy, salty.
cut. It was months afterwards.
I think it improves it a little bit. Like, to me, it takes it from like a C to a C plus at best. Like,
Thank you,
but anyways,
Jacob. I'm with you, Jacob.
but anyways, BVS theatrical version, there's things in it that I love, but like overall, man, I'll never forget seeing Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman fight together on screen again. Still get chills. But I think I'm leaning towards C.
I agree.
I would put the Ultimate Edition in A, but that's just
Are you saying you want to go higher or lower?
No, I think C is probably right. I've been softening on this movie. Gio and I talked about it the other day.
Hey,
but mostly,
you're not the only
mostly
one,
the
man.
ultimate. Well, yeah, I don't know. The stuff, like I said, the stuff I don't like, I really don't like. So I'd keep it at C. I think I understand what you mean though, Jake, but about the ultimate version, because most of the annoying stuff is still in that one, but a lot of it is fleshed out.
Movie. It didn't
But
change it.
a lot of stuff is fleshed out a lot better, in my opinion.
I mean, in what sense? I mean, like, yeah, Batman still kills, and Superman is still.
I don't care about that.
There's still a Jolly
Conflicted.
Rancher scene, and there's still this ridiculous
Yeah.
BS.
We've talked about
Martha
this.
is still in there.
Yeah.
You guys wanted humor in the movies, so they gave you humor.
I
and you
didn't
said
think
no.
Jolly Rancher was humor.
Okay, we got our C movie. Now, This is where the real discussion happens. Okay.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Oh, people would be so pissed.
We do have 2 films left. Obviously, Army of the Dead is not on here. We will place it, and I will make an image afterwards that will go up with our official ranking. But Zack Snyder's Justice League, one by one. Gio, stop. Jacob.
Wait, we put Army of the Dead at B, right? That's what I'm asking.
We haven't. No, we did Dawn of the Dead so far.
Oh, we didn't, right? Okay.
We haven't done Army of the Dead.
Wrong zombies, Jacob.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. Jacob, start us off.
Man, okay. So I'll just say, if I was doing this by myself, I would put it at B, to be honest. I like it a lot. I really enjoy it. To me, I'm looking at this as if it's a grade, right? So a B is, when I get a B on a test, as long as it doesn't determine my final grade, like, I'm stoked. If I get 110%, like, that's what I consider an S. Obviously, I'm super excited, but like,
I agree with Jacob. It's a B movie.
That's all. Like, I really like it, but I mean, I really like Legends.
Jacob made a great analogy. S is like 100% on a test. A is a 90 through a 99. A B is, bro, you're getting those keys. B's get keys. Come on.
Exactly. Like, I don't think that's disrespectful to give it a B, in my opinion.
Okay, so wait. So now go to Keith.
I'm gonna give it an A. I'm really. I had a good time with this movie. I sat, like I said, I was complaining the whole time about the runtime. And I wound up sitting and watching almost like the entire thing. Like, I didn't get out of my seat. You know, I mean, like that Superman moment, man, when he puts on the black suit and flies up in. I texted Gio. I texted you. You remember? I texted you like, dude, this is all. I enjoyed it. I would give it an A. I think it's really good.
And just to clarify, I wasn't calling it a B movie. I was saying in the tier.
Yeah, no,
and not calling it a B movie.
I thought they thought we meant that. Like,
yeah, no, I'm giving it a grade as far as the tier ranking
for this tier. He's
making a B like that. Like
the B movie. Yeah. With the
animated
B movie.
Yeah.
Whatever. Brian, what about you?
I am actually going to put this in, for me, the A spot.
Wow.
I will say Keith made a lot of the points I was going to make. I did not want to stay up to watch this movie from 12 to 4 in the morning. And I sat there from 12 to 4 in the morning, not stop watching it. I enjoyed it. It shat all over the theatrical one that got released. And, you know, it wasn't bad. I have to say, it was not. I mean, next to Man of Steel, it might be my favorite of all the DC released movies. So I think I have to put it with an A.
All right, Gio.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Most of you are tripping, like, hard. Okay. Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League is absolutely an S movie. This was an unprecedented event. Okay. People talk about behind the scenes and, how a movie was made. You think about Mad Max Fury Road and how George Miller shot that in desert, little CGI, a lot of practical effects. How about this movie and the behind the scenes that almost had nothing to do with the making of the movie? It's just a movie that WB ripped apart the first chance that they got, and then to not hear anything about it for years. The only voices were the fans' voices, and somehow this movie came to existence, and even more, it was a lot better, way better, miles better, light years better than Justice League, the theatrical version. This movie, more than any Avengers movie, has more arcs to each of the characters.
You better watch it, otherwise I'm gonna drop my thing down lower.
Okay, like people had a problem with Bruce Wayne's Ben Affleck's Batman killing in BVS, but by the time you get to the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, Martian Manhunter is telling Bruce Wayne, your mother and father would be proud of you for having faith in humanity again, for putting your life's mission on assembling this team. You got Aquaman and his conflict with the sea Atlanteans and the land people. You have Barry Allen and his father, and where does he fit in this world? You have Cyborg. Ray Fisher's Cyborg, Victor Stone, the heart of the movie. Yeah. Incredible. All of that left out footage going into Cyborg's brain and getting to see a visualization of how Cyborg's mind would work, how his powers work. That is incredible. And then obviously Henry Cavill's Superman. You think about where he started in Man of Steel, his situation in Batman v Superman, where he was conflicted with the world and the world finally accepting him at the very end, and then his return in Zack Snyder's Justice League, where he gets his black suit and you hear both of his fathers, Pa Kent and Jor-El, talk about become who you were meant to be. And then you get what?
So it's a good scene.
It's a great scene. This is a great movie. And the fact that there's nothing like it. It's 4 hours in a 4:3 format on streaming that you can watch at your own home. Blew my mind away.
So let me
people talking about DC again. They weren't talking DC as much with Shazam, with Aquaman, Birds of Prey. Those movies, they were successful, but it was the Snyder Cut that got people talking about DC again. And you know what? You still don't hear the end of it on Twitter. This movie is like, I mean, as close of a masterpiece as you could get.
Yeah, so
you have this. You have this over.
Hey, it's as close as a masterpiece as you can get, without it being a masterpiece.
We have rankings. I know we're going to reveal, but so you have this. Like, do you think this is better than Man of Steel?
What?
Do you think this is better than Man of Steel?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my God. So for me, like, in my opinion, you can't just give, like, it has to be special to give something excellence, right? Like, if you think something is the top of the tier, like, that means it's very special. I like the Snyder Cut, but like, to Man of Steel and 300, like, even though I don't like 300 as much, I understand how much people love that movie. So like, them two being at the top possible tier, and just to me, like, all those things are great, all those outside things, but if I'm just talking about the movie, the actual film that I sat down and watched, like, to me it's a B, but that's just my opinion.
Well, in your mind, what prevents it from being an A or an S? Is it the runtime? Is it the...
Well, there are a lot of things that could have been cut from it. Like, I would have liked a 3 to 3.5 hour version of this. Like, it, there, if I was, I'm not an editor. I have no idea what I would be doing if I was editing, but like, I would have, there's certain scenes I would have cut that I think could have been removed, that still, the movie still would have been fine. And I don't, look, it's a long movie. I can't go over everything that I didn't like. And I liked it more than I disliked it, obviously. But to me, like, all right, if we take all of our scores and average them out, it comes out to an A. So that's a win for this movie if it ends up in the A.
I'm okay with an A. I can't give it an S. I can't give it best of the best, personally.
Do you at least understand where I'm coming from, Gio?
No, but okay, look, you know what? This makes sense because, like, for years I was calling, and I wasn't alone. I was not, but I dedicated like so much mental capacity to this movie, and like
You did.
The return on investment for myself was, I mean, look at my wall.
I don't know about that. You know, the return on investment, you spend a lot of money on stuff.
I will say, look, Gio, I want to point out that we're not like debating with you or disagreeing with you. We're looking at it as amateur film pundits because we're nowhere near professionals. Just fans of film who go see comic book movies and movies in general. We're looking at it as our opinions towards a movie. And when it comes down to it, for me personally, the biggest gripe I had is, one, I still think he made a couple mistakes as far as a director goes. And two, it was an hour too long. It was an hour too long in my opinion. That's my opinion. My opinion is it's a B, but I will give it an A because you have it as an S. I'm not giving it the best of the best. It's not better than Man of Steel or 300 to me. It's not. It's barely better. It's slightly. I teeter between this and Watchmen as my 3, but those are my 4 right now in my ranking, which I posted on Letterboxd about 2 hours ago. It's number 4. I'm giving it an A tier. I'm giving it an A tier, and I, like Jacob said, I think that's a win. I absolutely think that's a win.
I will say that I think there is a 3 hour and 15-minute version of this movie that's just as good.
I completely agree.
I think it's better.
I will say that, but for me, but again, for myself, I say this whenever I get the opportunity. It's a 4-hour gift that keeps on giving, because every time that if you guys ever, whenever you plan to watch it, there are more things to take away and more things to appreciate about the movie. And it's tough, man. Once you start watching it, it's like you'd be surprised how much time goes by, because you're just like, even if it's on the background, you're doing something, like you're constantly looking away from the screen. And but I mean, yeah.
I just can't put it up with. I can't put it up with Man of Steel for me. That's all. That's the only reason I just dropped it. But I put it at A. I give it an A because I really like it.
And that's what I'm saying, Keith. Like, if I were to allow it to go into S, that means I'm lowering my opinion of Man of Steel, and I just can't do that.
No, you're not.
Because that means I'm saying they're in the same class, and it's not even close for me.
Wow.
I'm curious, of those of you in the chat, can you put your scores?
I think what's fair is, like I said, if you average our scores out, all 5 of them, it comes out to an A. Like, depending on if you can go B- or whatever, or A-. But
if you just think about like everything that this movie had going against it and what it accomplished, from Ray Fisher's Cyborg to a much better Barry Allen Flash, to a Batman who was more Batman in this movie than he was in BVS. A Superman, a Clark Kent, that by the third act of Zack Snyder's Justice League, you were like, that's my Superman. That's the Superman that I recognize. That's the traditional, with the freeze breath and all that stuff. And, he takes his glasses off and then he does the S chest thing.
Look, Gio, I agree with everything you just said, but I'm watching the execution of all of that. I'm not thinking about him being able to actually do that. I'm looking at the final product, and for me, it's a B, high B, but I'm going to give it an A because all of us agree that it's one of his best movies. It is.
I think we have to settle on A, and it just makes the most sense.
And I'll slide it right ahead of Watchmen for you.
I was gonna say, you better do that. You better
technically, Jake. Technically on these things, we're saying the way we have it, that 300 is better than Man of Steel. The way you have it.
Yes, exactly, Chuck. You got it.
Can I switch it?
Well, yeah, but I see.
Yeah, if we were judging
Jake,
impact
we didn't
on the
discuss
film
that.
culture,
Why are you moving it?
Because there's a lot of movies that, if that's the case, I know what you mean. But
Okay,
yeah, like I said, the finished product is over.
There.
All right, fair enough.
Last one, guys.
You guys know where I stand. So.
We're gonna have to wrap this up one quickly. It's not on here, but Army of the Dead. Quickly, where are we putting Army of the Dead?
For me, it's a C. Actually, no. I'd give it a B.
I give it a B too. To be honest, I give it like a 88%.
I'm right in the middle with it.
I'm gonna say B. It's not nearly as good as Watchmen or Justice League. It's definitely not as good as Watchmen. So I'll give it a B.
It's an S.
Stop.
I'm just kidding.
I believed him for a second.
No, I'll go B. I can't put it above Dawn of the Dead just yet. I gotta watch Dawn of the Dead and then Army of the Dead, and then I could do that. But I'm okay with the B tier for now.
Okay, so go ahead, Keith. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you watch our review, I might have liked it more than Gio did, to be honest.
Okay, so real quick before we wrap this up, are we moving anything? Are we shifting anything around?
Well, are we saying 300 is better than Man of Steel?
I personally say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not looking at it as once they get into the tiers that I'm ranking them. I just thought the point was just for them to just be in the tier.
If I'm the only one that says 300 is better, then I'm switching them.
I'm actually torn.
I mean, Man of Steel is my number one. For
me too.
Okay, that's fine. There you go. Are we moving either Dawn of the Dead or Legends of Guardians? Both stay at B?
I mean, I have neither of these, so.
I think there's no reason to move it. Like Gio and I decided on a B for Legends, so I think it's fine there.
Keith, I know you're thinking about Watchmen. Is what you're thinking about.
Yes. I can't.
So here's the thing, Keith. With you, I have Watchmen over Snyder Cut too, personally.
Yeah. Okay.
I have Justice League over Watchmen.
Okay. We know Gio does. Jacob, where do you stand?
Yeah.
I have Snyder Cut over Watchmen.
Okay. We leave it out.
All right, fine.
Okay. All right. Well, there it is, guys.
Wait. Sorry. With Army of the Dead, where would that fall?
Right.
I haven't seen Legends, but I would put it behind Dawn of the Dead personally.
Well, I haven't seen the other two, so I'd put it.
Ooh, that's tough.
Damn. Yeah, I'd put Army between Dawn of the Dead and, based on this, I'd put it between Army and Dawn of the Dead and Guardians.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Well, there it is, guys.
Where do you want to put Michael Jordan? Comply with
the Playground.
I saw that. I almost included that there for you.
Or Playground.
Playground documentary.
Obviously above S, right, Keith?
All right. So S tier films. Ranking at number 1 is Man of Steel. Number 2 is 300, and then we go to our A tier. Snyder Cut is number 3 with the Watchmen theatrical cut coming in at number 4, followed by Dawn of the Dead, then Army of the Dead, and Legends of the Guardians in the B tier, with the C tier of BVS theatrical cut, and coming in last, the D tier, we have Sucker Punch.
Yay!
I don't know about you guys.
I will have an image up tomorrow, everybody.
That was way more fun than a traditional ranking.
I told you, it works out way better. Works out way better.
Can we attempt? Maybe it's a 2-part of DCEU, MCEU, Harry Potter.
We can. Oh. They have all these lists. They have an entire MCU list that we can pull from, a DCEU list we can pull from. They have all of them. We can do it.
We should do this more often.
We can do it every franchise.
Chuck, you are about 90% correct.
Oh, goodness. Wow, that was more civil, and
this is more than I thought. We found our ranking system. There we go.
No, I love it. To me, that was way more fun. It just creates more discussion because you're like, I have this movie. If we just give our list, it's not as fun.
Tarantino tier. That's what I'm talking about, man. You're watching a Zack Snyder movie when you're watching a Zack Snyder movie. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll find our next one for sure. That was fun. Maybe Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh God.
Hey, it makes sense. Like depending on what movies are coming out, and
maybe
what's hot
maybe right
in the
after
film world, yeah.
right after F9, we do the Fast and Furious franchise.
Hey, those went on sale already, so
Yeah.
I'm down.
4 of them are.
We got to do
redeems.
we got to do the Daniel Craig Bond movies after No
We
Time
do.
to Die.
We
right?
have a lot to choose from. Mission Impossible. We have all of them. We have a lot of franchises.
Absolutely.
There are 5 Daniel Craig movies, right? Bond movies.
There will be 5, correct?
Yeah.
Rachel, that's so true.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you,
I
Rachel.
know.
Thank you.
That went pretty well, to be honest. It went pretty well. Awesome. Well, that should do it for this episode of Apocaflix Now. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching and playing along with us in the chat. Don't forget to check out our merch and our audio podcast. You can find links for those in the section below. And also, just want to say, check us out this Friday for the Fandalorian Club. We'll be reviewing the next episode of The Bad Batch. And I'll go ahead and throw it to Gio. Let them know where they can find you online, man.
You can find me on Twitter at Grey Goose Jedi. I will be changing that at some point, but for now, Grey Goose Jedi. Also, I have my own YouTube channel, Fandom United. Every Sunday evening, I do a live stream at 7:30 Pacific time. And Keith, hang on to your Zack Snyder ranking because we're gonna continue this conversation on Sunday.
Cool.
I want to talk more about it, but yeah. Fandom United. Appreciate it.
Awesome. And Keith Barnes, where can they find you online, sir?
Thank you. As my man Gio just said, on Fandom United on Sundays. I don't know. Can we talk? Are we ready to announce the return of Bartley and Barnes? We still got to work out some stuff here.
I was gonna say, you can.
Well, I mean,
you
you
can
just
tease
goddamn
it.
did it.
You can tease it a little bit here, man.
Bartley and Barnes is coming back very, very soon. We might talk about that now, actually. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at KeithBarnes79. Chuck, that second Fast and Furious movie is awful. One of the worst things that's ever happened in entertainment. And the fourth one, they get better from that fourth one. So if you care to get past that, if you can, go ahead and keep watching. But other than that, you can see me here on Tuesdays with the rest of the guys having fun. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Awesome. And Brian Avellino.
You can find me, B. Avellino, on Twitter. And then you can also find me on A Certain Point of View, the Schmodown after show. Who's the match tomorrow? Ooh,
Ace Cabrera and Thomas Harper.
Star Wars. If you want a little Star Wars, Jake's probably going to go for some revenge because we tied last time.
I'm coming for that head, man.
Awesome. And of course, you can find Jake Berlin at Certain Point of View as well. But also, where else can they find you, man?
Yeah, you can, I mean, Twitter and mainly Twitter, Instagram here and there. Twitter is my movie stuff. Instagram, you can just see all my dogs. At Qui-Gon Jake on both of them, 2 ends.
That's like the first time you said plural.
Yeah, I have dogs now. Dogs. And yes, POV multiple times a week, Apocaflix multiple times a week. Apocaflix Now on Tuesdays, Fandalorian Club on Fridays. Brian teased something that's coming back next week, which we will drop another trailer to here very, very soon.
I know nothing.
And then trailer reactions and casting table like Geo plugged and all kinds of cool things for here on the channel. And I do a little show called The Whiskey Jedi every couple weeks. New episodes coming this week. I talk whiskey and beer and play with Star Wars. So come hang out there as well.
Awesome. And like Keith said, we are working on, for those of you who don't know, we used to do a show called Bartley and Barnes on a separate YouTube channel where we did talk movies, but we also talked television, we talked music, we talked sports, and just anything we really wanted to talk about. We're working on the details, but it's going to be like an end of the month show, a monthly show, and we're probably going to do our first episode here at the end of June. So keep an eye out for that. You can find me on Twitter at Jake.
Just more work for me, right, boys?
Yes, exactly. More work for Jake.
Have anything to do, so.
And Jacob Bartley 824 on Twitter. And also, if you play fantasy football, check me out at First Round Fantasy on YouTube. I also have a Power Rangers podcast called Off the Grid. I took a few weeks off, but I'm coming back this week. I'm reviewing Power Rangers number 7 and Mighty Morphin number 7. So please come and check that out. And again, also you can always find me here at Apocaflix Movies. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.